Why do you think it's important to celebrate it this year, 2012?
I think women should be celebrated every year because women in many ways hold up this earth, and if not for women we will all be incomplete. But we should not just keep it as punchlines or days to celebrate or fancy, and really practice it in our lives every day. Even if we fail every day, it doesn't matter, we have to learn and realize every day.
Being able to achieve and what they're able to do with their lives, and just being able to come up in, be involved in different leadership roles, and being able to have the opportunity to study, being able to lead, and to just get to be part of making the nation better. What do you mean to you?
International Women's Day for me it kind of serves as a reminder that we need to look at the women around us. We need to look at the women who we look up to. We need to look at the women and the young girls who are looking up to us, and just remind ourselves that we need to be there for each other. We need to support each other because it's hard. It's much harder for us than it is for men to make it in the world.
I think International Women's Day is a really positive day. Firstly, I think to celebrate all the great achievements that we've made so far, that women have a vote, have much more of a say than they ever have. But secondly, I think it's also to look at where we need to improve on, and the areas that women still don't have as much participation. Women are still completely underrepresented in government, on boards of senior companies, and across the board really in churches and even in NGO community. So yeah, I think it's a twofold thing. First,
I think we should celebrate every day for being a woman. But the 8th of March being a traditionally recognized as International Women's Day, we should celebrate double because, first of all, we women have come from a long, long way where we were seen as just a housewife and sitting at home and just looking after children. That also is a great job because we were great mothers. But today women have come long, long way, being prime ministers, being astronauts, being CEOs of big, big corporations. And I have seen that a lot of women, ordinary women, striving themselves to the edge of, like, sometimes they threaten men. And I'm not very negative towards men or anything, but then I think we have got a place of our own in the world. And we should celebrate, and we should show to the world that women have that woman power. Mind you, in women's spelling there is man. M-A-N. Men don't have. So we have to double celebrate that we have the manpower and a woman power. So I feel very proud that 8th March is celebrated internationally, and I am one of these celebrities.
That's what you think about International Women's Day.
I think this is a very great day. This is a day that should be really be celebrated because this is when we celebrate the efforts of women across the world. But I still think there's a gap in the society when the grassroots women are not really represented or even don't really know about this day. Because as much as we celebrate the international women and the national women, we also have very powerful women at the grassroots who are doing very great work in the societies, and it's very good to motivate them by recognizing them. I think this is very important, and it's still a gap in our society.
Oh, good. Why do you think we should celebrate International Women's Day this year?
It's very important to celebrate this day because it's the only day women go through everything. Women struggle each and every day. Women are very powerful managers at all levels, and it's very important to bring this out. It's very important to get that day when you really feel that I'm doing something in a society that has always been very unfair to the women, where you do so much yet it's very little, it's not really appreciated. So it's very, very important to celebrate this day just to feel that we are actually doing something.
Women's Day is important because it highlights the problems and the challenges that women face. Yeah.
How do you think other people can be involved in it?
They can be involved in it by starting to appreciate women and working together with women.
Okay. What do you think is the importance of us celebrating? Importance of us celebrating International Women's Day on that 8th of March.
It is important to celebrate this day because that way we are able to recognize the strength of women in our society and also to appreciate what they've been doing to bring changes.
Okay.
$1.25. That's what people refer as living below poverty. But with that little amount, she's able to support the household that she's heading, or the household, because most of the households in slum area, they are headed by women or single mothers.
What do you think or see as a relationship with the importance of celebrating International Women's Day?
I can say the importance of celebrating is because we are looking at what the women have been able to play, the great role women are playing in our economy, and especially supporting the households that they live, or ensuring that the household they have food and they have the education, because most of this is done by the women. And when we see the women, they are in small groups, what we call the women groups. Those are groups of women who come together with a cause because they have identified that they have a common theme. Maybe they are struggling to empower their household, or they are struggling to feed their household. So they sit down and move in a group. Either they help one another to establish maybe a business through revolving money or revolving funds. So women, they are playing a great role in our economy, especially the Kenyan economy. And there's need for us to celebrate the achievement that they have made.
Great. What do you see? How do you think other people can be involved in just both International Women's Day and also in just gender equality?
I think people, they can be involved in many ways. And when people talk about gender equality and what are some of the things we can do to enhance gender equality, and how we can do so that we celebrate together, is that we need to involve women to actively, in fact, we can say we need to actively involve women to participate in the decision making, especially starting from even in the churches, so that even the small committee that we have in the churches, we make sure that there's representation of women is there, especially in our constitution is saying at least 3/4. Not to belong to one gender, so that at least we have a third of them being women. Just to be actively, we design that so that we make sure that women are involved in decision making, and also they're involved in making decisions that affect their day-to-day kind of life. Yeah.
Okay. Remember, we hadn't introduced each other when I wasn't recording. When you introduced yourself,
Okay.
So you can introduce yourself. Just say your name.
Okay.
And what you're involved in, and what it takes, what you do there.
Okay. My names are David Warwin, and David Warwin Mgeni. I work with the Fellowship of Christian Churches in Kenya, FCCK. Basically, we work with the poor households to empower the poor households so that they are able to respond to their challenges, and also they are able to make sure that the children or the people in that household, they get their day-to-day needs, or what we call the basic needs, are met.
My perspective, I think the first thing to do is as a wife, as a girlfriend, is to educate in quotes your partner, because I think the first thing is telling a woman she cannot accept some things. There's things that she can accept. So, and also about the house tasks, I think it's also important to involve your partner or your husband in the simple things. Then in a work perspective, maybe to talk about it's a way to think, to reflect, to discuss, and to inform yourself about women and women's rights. Donc je vous souhaite à tous une très bonne journée de la femme, à tous et à toutes, et à bientôt.
International Women's Day is a great step toward human equality in global society. Kenyan women's here, compared to women in Iran, I don't see any less skills, talent, intelligence, even higher. I see in my country but the only thing that I wish women in Iran could have was greatest borders and communication with abroad, and have the tool which is English language for communication with abroad. If my country's women had that tool, I'm sure they could contribute more and more to global society in everything.
من برای تمام زنان کشورم و زنان دنیا آزادی و برابری و صلح آرزو دارم.
Thank you.